It's just as Risley said. Seems like Dugier is no longer here. You said you felt there was something off about this place, right? So let's see if we can feel something out. Hyman will do her best to help.
Nur ich bin mir auch nicht mehr sicher.
Wait, you guys are...
We're really sorry. We just realized that we lost something, and we figured we might have left it here by accident. We'll be on our way as soon as we find it.
Oh, okay.
Hat jemand zufällig eine Glasflasche gesehen?
Nobody?
Drin ist Gewürzpulver.
It's okay. There's no need to be nervous. It's not like we lost a whole bag of more or anything. We'll just look for it ourselves if none of you caught a glimpse of it. We're not gonna tell Risley anything, don't worry.
I'll go find Mr. Dugier.
No need. We're just looking for something. Why does he have to know?
Sieht so aus, als hätten sie alle Angst vor etwas.
We can look around for it, yeah? Hey, hello?
Hello? How can I help you?
Kannst du uns etwas mehr über eure Gesellschaft erzählen?
The Beret Society offers a variety of resources and benefits to its members, and I mean, you've already heard my spiel. I don't know anything beyond what I've already told you.
Also im Grunde wird da nur runtergeleiert, was der einen eh schon gesagt hat.
You don't know anything?
Sorry, that's not what I meant. It's just, there's nothing more I can tell you.
Das ist definitiv nicht dafür.
Hey, big guy?
What do you want?
Isn't this how you greeted us earlier? Take a deep breath and let it all out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You sure are a fast learner.
Warum bist du plötzlich nicht mehr so energisch wie früher?
I ate something earlier, so I'm falling into a bit of a food coma, and I mean, not everyone can be super upbeat all the time, right? You're looking for something, you said? I didn't see it, but it should be somewhere nearby.
Und was ist mit ihr hier? Unsere Bücher.
Are you still organizing the bookshelves?
Yeah, and... I'm sorry. But you can't check out the books right now.
We weren't thinking about that to begin with, but weren't you super friendly just a moment ago?
Sorry.
Okay, Paimon sees what you meant now. Seems like they really don't want to talk to us, so let's just head back.
Boah. Die werden alle so gesehen unterdrückt, würde ich jetzt einfach mal sagen.
Oh, you're back. How were things at their headquarters?
It was as if they had all turned into completely different people.
Sie sprechen kaum ein Wort.
That would prove my suspicions. The dissonance I mentioned earlier was precisely that fleeting moment of fear behind the cheerful facade.
Genau wie der Typ, der sich in der Kiste versteckte.
Right. He was acting super scared too when we saw him at the gathering place. Actually, hasn't he just been acting super paranoid since we first met?
And that's precisely why I took his hat.
Oh,
It's because I wanted to figure out what's really going on. I don't believe any of Dugier's talk about unstable mental states.
Wie lange hast du das schon untersucht?
Not too long. Dugier made very elaborate preparations for my visit. But I don't know. It almost feels like the performance was too elaborate.
Okay, but if you think something's wrong, why don't you just take the whole society into custody? Aren't you the Duke? You can do whatever you want in this place.
Well, maybe you're actually a better fit for the position than I am. Just give me the word and I'll hand you the cuffs. In all seriousness, however, cuffs and the like should be used sparingly. They're mostly for show. Everything I do is on display. The way people see me act determines the kind of world I can create down here. And I've always striven to appear fair and reasonable to the people.
That sounds a bit deep. Paimon's not sure she got all of it.
Die Verhaltensweise des Herzogs gilt hier als Vorbild.
You've hit the nail on the head. I have to lead by example if I want to maintain expectations of justice and order. And that's why, even though Dugier had already let a few things slip, I didn't want to turn on him without irrefutable evidence.
Alright, so you're saying Dugier has figured out some way to control the members of his society. And even though the members are acting all optimistic and motivated, it's all just a shell.
So einfach kann es nicht sein.
Indeed. He certainly seems to be using some coercive methods to turn his members into the most upbeat and motivated group of people you've ever seen. I have some faith, though, that some of the members understood the hint I gave during our visit. The line has been set, and it's quite likely that a fish will bite.
Fish? Bite?
Let's give them some time. My guards will need it to finish their investigation, too. You can find me in my office when the time comes.
It comes. Okay. Wenn die Zeit kommt, dann bin ich dann auch da.
Explained everything to Paimon? Hey!
Zum Stolz der Barettgesellschaft warte bis heute Abend 18 bis 24 Uhr. Machen wir doch gerne Zeit. So. Einmal rum. Direkt am nächsten Tag. Ich bin irgendwie schon angewöhnt, immer im Kleid. Dicke, dacke, dicke, dacke. Oh Mann. Ich denke da immer an eine Zelle.
Risley's probably wrapped up his investigation. Paimon has no idea what that guy's thinking. Let's just go find him and ask him what he's really up to.
Ja gut. Die Spuren der Vergangenheit bleiben. Eine neue Lösung für ein altes Problem. Das schauen wir uns gerade an. Wir sollen jetzt in die Klinik, also ja. Ab in die Klinik. Ab in die Klinik. Und hoffentlich, ja, wir sind hier richtig. Ja. Wo ist unsere Lieblingsärztin Sieben?
Please rest here for a moment. Oh, and would anyone like anything to drink?
Ja, immer doch. Von dir immer.
Paimon's not that thirsty, but thanks anyway. Thirst is a warning sign that you're dehydrated, which means you have to drink up even before that. I'll bring you some tea. I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about. Typical Sijuin. Concerned about everyone's health as always. Why aren't you two saying anything?
Die Häftlinge, an denen wir gerade vorbeigekommen sind.
You noticed them too. The badges they wore on their chests looked quite familiar.
Familiar? Paimon didn't even realize they were wearing them. But if both of you say so, let's go ask them about it.
Paimon und ich werden danach fragen.
That's not a bad idea. I will stay here and wait for news from you.
Was haben sie denn zu sagen? Wenn wir hier, wo wir mal vorbeikamen, haben sie schon was zu sagen und vielleicht haben sie jetzt wieder was zu sagen, wer weiß. Ja.
Time to go.
Wäre komplett in die falsche Richtung gelaufen.
Anything you need?
Über das Zeichen, das du trägst.
Oh, this? Are you interested in joining the Mutual Aid Network?
What's that?
We have a very long history, going back as far as 400 years ago. We have never had many members throughout our history, nor do we have much of a reputation, but everyone treats each other like family. Helping each other is our purpose. At the same time, we seek to maintain just dealings as much as possible.
Sounds like a pretty neat organization.
All we want is to defend ourselves. None of us have ever committed serious crimes, and we're not especially powerful either. We're at a natural disadvantage here in the fortress. But people won't give us a hard time if we stick together.
Okay.
Interested in joining the Mutual Aid Network? If you'd like to learn more, here's our flyer.
Werbematerial der Gesellschaft für gegenseitige Hilfe. Sich gegenseitig helfen und gemeinsam Krisen zu bewältigen, nichts unversucht lassen und die Gerechtigkeit durchzusetzen. Faire Gerichtsprozesse dürfen nicht verabscheut werden. Die 3 oben genannten Punkte sind die grundsätzlichen Leitlinien der Gesellschaft für gegenseitige Hilfe. Der Beitritt zur Gesellschaft für gegenseitige Hilfe steht in jedem offen. Es müssen keine Gebühren entrichtet werden und es gibt auch keine fakultativen Gruppenaktivitäten. Die Gesellschaft für gegenseitige Hilfe ermutigt Mitglieder zu Dingen, die im Rahmen ihrer Möglichkeiten liegen und dazu zählen unter anderem auf eigene Initiative hin aufzuräumen, Körperertüchtigung zu betreiben, zu lehren und zu lernen. Wir hoffen, dass alle Mitglieder der Gesellschaft für gegenseitige Hilfe in ihrer Zeit im Fort Meropide der Schuld, die sie auf sich geladen haben, offen ins Auge sehen. Wir ermuntern einander, unterstützen einander und blicken gemeinsam in die Zukunft.
Our slogan may have evolved over the centuries, but our goal has remained unchanged. Here, this book is for you. You're welcome to come and sign up anytime.
Okay. Ich nehme alles.
You two look kind of familiar.
Über das Abzeichen, das du trägst.
It's the symbol of the Mutual Aid Network designed by our first president. From what I've heard, it's based on something called a Medal of Peace. I've never seen one of those medals for myself, though.
Friedensmedaille?
The first president of our network was an amazing person. Powerful as he was, he never used his strength against anyone. He encouraged the weaker criminals to stick together and look out for each other. All of us have a lot of respect for him.
We should have gathered enough information. Let's head back and talk to Neuvillette.
Na dann. Auf zu unseren Richterlein. Auf zu Neuvillette. Denn er ist zu nett.
Did you manage to gather any intel?
The people who wore the badges belong to an organization called the Mutual Aid Network. According to them, the badge's design was inspired by the Medal of Peace. Have you seen any of those before?
I personally crafted 2 of them myself. They were awarded to Carol and Vautrin. Carol's medal was destroyed in a fire. The only one that remained should belong to Vautrin.
Oh. So the network was inspired by...
Monsieur Neuvillette, His Grace has requested your presence in his office. He's found Domenico.
All right. Let us talk to him first and get to the bottom of this situation.
Na, ab ins Büro und mal schauen, was er dann zu sagen hat. Kann ja nichts Gutes bei rumkommen, wenn wir zu ihm gehen. Und vor allen Dingen... Moment. Das Büro kann ich nicht. Hey. Ich wusste es doch, wir können uns dahin teleportieren. Bevor ich hier wieder rumsuche.
Allow me to introduce this fine gentleman, Domenico. Why don't you explain everything to him?
Neuvillette? What do you want? What are you gonna do? Kill me?
Calm down. I merely want to ask you a few questions. Was it your idea to send that letter to a Melusine? Hassan has already confessed, so there really isn't any need to keep hiding.
That idiot! I can't believe I trusted him.
Let me ask this another way. It was your idea to send that letter, correct?
Yes.
Who is pulling your strings?
What? You're not trying to frame me for something I haven't done, are you?
It's best if you realize the gravity of your situation. The Chief Justice of Fontaine has been personally investigating your case. I assume your previous attempt to incite unrest at the Fortress of Meripede has something to do with this as well.
I admit I acted on impulse. I'll tell you the truth. But before that, you must ensure my safety.
I can do that. You see, we're all reasonable people here.
I only intended to do some small business at first. Someone contacted me about delivering some goods and promised me a generous sum of more in return. After making a few trips, I was suddenly approached by the Marechaussee Phantom. They accused me of smuggling prohibited items, and I was put on trial. But I refused to accept any of that. The ignorant can be rightfully absolved from guilt, right? Well, I suspect that someone got me locked up here so they could get their hands on my goods.
And then you decided to take revenge on the Melusines? Over that?
Unwissenheit ist keine Ausrede.
My initial target was Neuvillette. Everyone in the Fortress of Meripede was declared guilty by him after all. So they must more or less hold a grudge against him, right? If I could get them to strike back. But for some reason, no one wanted to team up with me. That mutual aid network in particular. What did those nobodies even gain from trying to challenge me? Seriously. In the end, I had to redirect my focus onto Melusines to salvage things. I recall that Chiara was the one who confiscated my goods for inspection. So I asked one of the more approachable guards to send a letter, claiming that I meant to contact my family. But the letter was in fact addressed to Essa. I requested that he write a threat letter to Chiara and force her to resign from the Marechaussee Phantom.
Am I to assume that the claims you've made are your own thoughts? Have you been in contact with any suspicious people recently?
No.
Is it true that all members involved in the smuggling scandal have been caught?
Yes. And that's all I know.
Sijuin, please take him back to the detention center. I'll deal with him later. So, Monsieur Neuvillette, you were concerned that there might be a shadowy faction looking to capitalize on the delicate situation with the Melazines to stir up greater chaos? Yes. I experienced a similar incident in the past, so I had to be prepared for any possibility. And how long ago was this incident? More than 400 years. You might be overthinking this. Time can change a lot of things. Everything's different now. What do you mean? 400 years ago, you and the Melazines you brought to Fontaine were the outliers in society. But in the present day, if someone were to threaten the safety of the Melazines, people wouldn't just sit back and do nothing. I trust that they would make different choices from before.
That's right! We saw lots of people standing up for Melazines on our way back to the Palais Mermonia.
Monsieur Neuvillette, the Melazines are a species you introduced to Fontaine. How the public treats them is also reflective of their attitude towards you. When people refused to place their trust in Melazines, it was because they were still on the fence about you, their unfamiliar Chief Justice. For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time, regardless of whatever nonsense went on. People no longer have any reservations about you and even consider you a symbol of the law. Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words, you've gradually transformed the whole nation.
Paimon gets it now. No wonder no one wanted to join forces with Domenico.
Eine solche Tragödie wird nie wieder passieren.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, I have simply been fulfilling my duties. It isn't anything special or worthy of praise. I'm simply fulfilling the promises I've made and searching for answers through my judgments. It is unnecessary to hold me in such high regard. The complexity of human emotions and willpower far exceed those of mine. As a matter of fact, I believe that you are the ones who deserve my respect. There's no need to be so modest. The current state of affairs says it all. You're no longer that outsider you were before. Even if you wished to investigate something on your own, many would take the initiative to lend you a hand. I must say that you've made a fair point. Thank you for clearing my doubts. Now that the case has been settled, I should get going.
Huh? You're leaving?
And so soon, too? Why not stay for a cup of tea? Thank you for the offer, but I know how this place works all too well. While some are here to redeem themselves, there will inevitably be those who harbor resentment towards me. The less time I spend here, the better. My presence could very well result in an unwanted disturbance. In that case, I'll have to insist. I still have 2 more things to say. Please, go ahead. The first is about the guard who helped Domenico send that letter. I know of what you speak. The guard was indeed deployed from the Palais Mermonia's staff. However, as I mentioned earlier, I visited today on personal business. Therefore, I leave that matter in your hands. Well, that makes things a lot easier.
Willst du etwa...
Hey now, don't let your imagination run wild. Those from up there have a tendency to sympathize with others. However, down here, such thoughts will put you at high risk. I'll have a chat with the guard and remind him to take precautions in the future. I see no issues with that.
Great! That's one thing out of the way. What's the other thing you wanted to say?
The other thing was born from my own sense of curiosity. Now, I've heard that you investigated the mutual aid network. Is that right?
Yep. Neuvillette thought their badges looked familiar.
I noticed the small gang as well when I first took over the fortress of Meripede. They were not great in number, but every member always made sure to stand up for what was right. I've looked into their founder, Vautrin, who once stood trial and was sentenced to imprisonment in the fortress. According to existing documentation, Vautrin remained disciplined throughout his imprisonment. He had never once engaged in physical or verbal aggression. In other words, how he presented himself in prison was very different from his behavior in court.
What?
Hegt er keinen Groll gegen Neuvillette?
During his trial, I could sense that his feelings were complicated. He appeared to be full of resentment, and I believe he had every right to feel that way.
Perhaps he had been putting on an act.
An act?
Neuvillette and Vautrin had a close relationship as superior and subordinate. Vautrin must have known that the Chief Justice would make an impartial judgment. Thus, the more resentment he displayed, the clearer it would be to those present that you were upholding justice. And to those who had been sitting on the fence, Vautrin's act was a very meaningful one. That's all from me. Does anyone else have anything to say? Now's your chance.
I don't have anything to say, apart from expressing my gratitude, that is. Well then, let us head back. No need to see us off.
Please, take care.
Aber.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind, as if urging me on to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words. How should I describe it? Surprise, relief, fear, and regret. But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts, too. What do you think of me?
Paimon agrees with everything Risley said. As Chief Justice, every single one of your trials makes an impact on Fontaine. What do you think, Traveler? Hey, any comments?
What I really think is, every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you. And that's what makes you who you are today.
Als Hydrodrache betrachtet sich Neuvillette aufgrund seiner Identität immer noch als Außenseiter. Aber nach so vielen Jahren sind Grenzen zwischen ihnen und den Menschen vielleicht schon längst verschwommen.
That is indeed a reasonable assumption. As I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. Since some time ago, I have begun to notice the changes that have occurred upon my person. These changes were not due to any specific occurrence, but emerged as a result of time itself. I will try to contemplate this further. Thank you both.
Oh, huh? It's raining! Oh no, Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Meripede. It's a good place for me.
He owes me so many answers.
Nervilette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble. How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
Schön gemacht.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close eye on him, so the Melusines should be safe now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sorry for dragging you all into this.
There's no need to apologize.
Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved of our own accord.
By the way, where's Kiara?
At the Palais Mermonia, more than 50 people offered to protect her. Some even hid within the bushes to look out for danger. I was worried that the excess of protection would make her feel uneasy, so I asked her to stay inside the Palais. It's very safe in there.
What a relief.
Well, now it looks like the dust has finally settled. To celebrate this joyous occasion, Monsieur Neuvillette, would you be interested in an exclusive interview?
That's not how you celebrate.
I will consider it.
Really?
Of course. My schedule is full for the following weeks, but I should be available next month. Come up with questions during the intervening days, and I will answer them to the best of my ability.
Die kann es gar nicht fassen.
Yes! Thank you so much, Monsieur!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to publicize our investigation results. I hope it will assuage the concerns of all.
Na dann zurück mit uns. Mal schauen, was er denn diesmal raushaut. Nicht schnarchen. Oh. Aufwachen. Nicht im Dienst schlafen. Das macht man doch nicht.
Kiara?
Monsieur Neuvillette? Sorry, I accidentally fell asleep.
It's quite all right. I'm here to tell you that we have caught the sender of that threatening letter. You're safe now.
Thank you, Monsieur. And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon. Everyone's been so nice to me, so I've always felt really safe.
Do you remember Domenico? He was the sender of that letter.
Let me think. I can't remember. My memory isn't that good, so I easily forget things. By the way, I saw Carol in my dreams just now. Where's she gone, by the way? I haven't seen her in a long time. In my dream, she looked really happy. She held my hand and said, "Kiara, our dreams have finally come true." I can't remember what our dreams were anymore, and I don't know why. But I felt really happy too.
I can sense your joy. It is indeed a delightful moment.
Monsieur Neuvillette, are you happy too? Oh, I almost forgot. Am I allowed to go out now? I promised to model for Alov.
Of course. Off you go.
See you next time, Monsieur, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon.
Wir sehen uns bestimmt.
See you next time.
Die Spuren der Vergangenheit bleiben. Abwesenheitsnotiz beantworten. Aus persönlichen Gründen verreist werden einen Tag Gründe, in unseren obersten Richter endlich ein Licht aufgegangen. Ich habe dir schon lange Zeit gesagt, du solltest meinem Beispiel folgen, öfters rausgehen und näher an den Volk herankommen. Selbst wenn etwas Bedauerliches passieren könnte, würde man unterwegs sicherlich auf viele einzigartige Seelen treffen. Was denkst du? Die menschliche Welt ist doch ziemlich interessant, nicht wahr? Ja. In einen Tag zurück, ja. Freinehmen muss halt auch mal sein. Überarbeiten kann ja nicht sein.
I really can't fathom what goes on in her head sometimes.
Oh. Na dann, wir sehen uns. Zum Stolze der Barettgesellschaft. Ja, dann haben wir das andere also auch jetzt fertig. Müssen wir aber schon wieder runter. War jetzt irgendwie schneller fertig, als ich erwartet habe.
Time to go.
Oh, here you are. Did you manage to land a lucky pull on the welfare meals tonight?
Let's just get straight to the point. Has anything else happened with the society?
Patience, Paimon. Even as the situation continues to brew, we still need to make sense of what we learned so far and go over any sticking points. I'm actually still thinking about the first thing that came to my mind when I noticed something amiss. Namely, why didn't anyone come to me about it?
Oh, that's a good point. Could whatever they're afraid of be so powerful that even you won't be able to do anything about it?
But even if such a thing existed, how could they be so sure without checking with me first? It'd be one thing if it was just one or two people, but it seems like everyone's convinced that I won't be able to help. Which leads me to believe that it's more likely that they think I just wouldn't care to help them.
Sie glauben, du seist Dugias Komplize.
Yes, something like that. Dugier must have told them something to make them think I won't take their side. So it became imperative for me to refute that and prove my true stance. Of course, I had originally planned to do this in a more covert way, but I had to improvise when you identified the guy who'd lost his hat with everyone present. There was no way to keep our investigation a secret after that.
That makes sense. Wait, then does that mean it was all Paimon's fault?
Wenn du es so sagst.
The last thing that guy wanted was for Dugier to find out that he'd lost it. He would have never brought the matter up on his own. But now, not only has Dugier found out that he'd lost his hat, he's also realized that we were the ones who found it. That likely set his internal alarms off all at once.
Ihre Bärte müssen etwas verbergen.
Yes, that's the conclusion I came to as well. It's the only thing that could explain the fear. If we didn't act right then and there, Dugier would probably come up with some other way to hide the truth, and we'd be back to square one. So after giving the matter some thought, I tossed that black gem onto the ground. I must say, I was pretty satisfied with the results.
Ah, so you did that on purpose?
Yes, that's right. Of course, that box was discovered as part of our investigation of the Society from the very beginning. I had no way to know if any of the members had actually seen the gem before, but since I had to do something, I decided to gamble.
Das ist also deine Andeutung.
Right. And I said back there that I had no idea what the gem represented. That should have been enough to let people know that it's still early days for my investigation. And since I was traveling with you, heroes who have never turned a blind eye to evil and injustice, they would also understand that we're here to help, rather than to tolerate or uphold the status quo.
You used us as a part of your plan too!
Deshalb wolltest du, dass wir mitkommen.
My apologies. There was no time and quite a lot to explain, so I figured it might be easier to just let you see a few things for yourselves. But I can assure you that I've now told you everything there is to know. Of course, you're under no obligation, but I would really appreciate it if you could continue to lend me your support and help me figure out the true secret behind the Society. Would you be willing to lend me your support?
Natürlich.
But Paimon's still mad at you!
Klar, wir können bei dem Kampf helfen.
You have my thanks. Now, there are still two outstanding matters in our investigation. The first is the secret of the hats. I've examined one before. There was nothing suspicious about the item itself. The other is the true purpose of the black gem. We haven't been able to get anything out of anyone with actual knowledge of it. It's my hope that a brave fish will take my bait and venture outside of their dark and murky pool. I'll put some music on while we wait.
Einfach mal eine Minute entspannen und die Zeit streichen lassen.
Excuse me, Your Grace, but may I come in? I'm afraid that someone's been following me.
Please, do.
I apologize for my lack of composure. These two are the guests that came with you to our gathering place, correct?
Kennst du uns?
Yes, my lover Fasol told me all about you. Please, help us, Your Grace. He's in great danger right now.
Slow down, take a deep breath, and start from the top. What happened at the Society?
I'm sorry, Your Grace. I will try. I think I should start from when you saw Fasol last.
You mean when we saw him at the gathering place?
Yes, he fled immediately, but many members are hot on his heels. Thankfully, he still managed to meet up with me and explain everything that had happened. Now that he's lost Dugier's trust, what awaits him is agonizing censure.
Censure?
Censure is Dugier's method of establishing control, as well as the thing we all fear the most. Rather than listening to me explain what it is, Your Grace, please, just let me show it to you. Every secret may be found within...
Here you are. I was wondering where you had run off to in such a hurry. Please excuse us, Your Grace. It was never our intention to disturb you like this. You see, Avisa's mental state has been rather unstable ever since she arrived at the fortress. She rambles often, has hallucinations. It may be best to dismiss her babbling as random gibberish.
I don't recall hearing a knock or giving permission for you to come in.
Oh, my apologies. I merely did not wish for Your Grace to be alarmed. Had I not been so focused on recovering her, I would have followed all the rules of etiquette to the letter. So please, forgive my discourtesy.
Like we believe you.
Das ist wirklich mutig, hierher zu wagen.
Please, there's no need to be upset. It's only natural to want to side with the poor sick girl, but I know His Grace to be a reasonable man.
Well then, what if the reasonable man wants to hear the lunatic out?
That would be perfectly fine with me. Oh, and just so you know, we've also found the missing Mr. Fasol. I had no idea why he was so upset about losing his hat, really. Thankfully, he has already returned to his senses. We've brought him back to our place, so there's no need to worry.
I'm sorry, Your Grace. I don't have anything more to say.
This is what you're afraid of, correct? You can tell me everything. I'll do all I can for you.
I've never seen that thing in my life.
Sei etwas mutiger, weiß.
Your Grace, I don't think there's anything else she would like to say. Pressuring her will not get you anywhere.
It's all right, Avis. As long as you tell me what it is that you're terrified of, no matter what it is, it will no longer be able to hurt you. I swear this on my name and honor as the Duke.
Your Grace, forget it. I'll keep my mouth shut. I've already said everything I could say about the matter.
I'm sorry, Your Grace, but I really don't have anything more to say. Please, don't press me further.
But why?
In that case, Avis and I will be off. Once again, please accept my apologies for disturbing your peaceful evening, Your Grace.
Miss Avis, please show me your head. That is an order. There's nothing there.
Your Grace, I know you have long tired of my words, but please believe me when I say you've merely let your worries get to your head. The Society has never caused trouble for you or any of the guards at the fortress. We've spent all of our time working hard and trying to lead better lives. Why are you doing everything in your power to prove our guilt? What's wrong with the current state of affairs? I'll do anything for you, as long as you give me the word. Why are you so intent on getting rid of someone who's been unfalteringly loyal?
Your words bore me. You know the consequences if I find you to be lying.
Everything that I do for the fortress of Meripede. But Your Grace is welcome to visit us any time to confirm the true intent of our activities. All right, Avis.
let's head back.
Oh Mann.
Just what's up with that guy? He makes Paimon really, really mad. We should have shown him his place.
Sooner or later, all will pay the price for their arrogance.
Das ist so ein Kotzbrocken.
He must have been well prepared for this exact scenario, or he wouldn't have dared to be so openly hostile. All the more reason for us to be patient. The entire society are his hostages. His subordinates would definitely react if he were taken into custody. And that's why he dared to bare his fangs right in front of me.
Wir werden ihn das nicht durchgehen lassen.
The true secret of the society is neither on the hat nor on the members' heads. Dugier probably knew this from the very beginning, which is why he didn't panic. However, if we were to look at the rules, it would also seem like the head has to be the place where they're keeping all of their secrets.
Yeah, none of this makes sense to Paimon either. What are they trying to hide?
Ach nö, nö, nö. Das ist so gesehen meine Lieblingsstelle. Definitiv meine Lieblingsstelle, die ich komplett hasse. Das Einstellung Brett der Gesellschaft.
The
Interpretieren.
hats are definitely being used to hide a secret. But there's nothing wrong with the hats themselves.
Kopf an Ever.
But if there's nothing on her head, why did Avise feel the need to remove her hat?
Positionen vorbereiten. Hinterlassene Haarspange.
I have an idea, but...
Ja, ich auch. Avise nahm ihr Barett ab, nicht um ihren Kopf zu zeigen.
You mean this thing? So, she handed a key piece of evidence over to us without Dugier noticing. That would mean that Avise didn't stay silent out of fear. She stayed silent because she'd already given us what we needed. Let me take a look. I managed to remove this from the hair clip. It's long, slender, and conical, is hollow on the inside, and looks something like a cross between a nail and a thorn.
Sieht wie ein Anstecker aus.
Paimon's last again.
Let's see. What if we do this?
Hey, what are you doing? Wait. Some kind of dark liquid is leaking out of the gem. And some of it has been absorbed by this thorny-looking thing.
Im Inneren des Relais ist eine Art Flüssigkeit.
You've probably heard before that water is filled with the strongest emotions of humanity. With that in mind, this liquid is probably a highly concentrated solution of fear.
Oh, so that's why even touching it will make you remember unpleasant things.
Also mit dieser Flüssigkeit und diesem Dorn.
Dugier would be able to censure others. I can only imagine how it would feel to have this directly injected into your brain. The moment it hits you would be like being flooded with all the terrors you've ever experienced in your life. Agony, desolation, and an overwhelming sense of despair. No wonder they're all so terrified of it.
So, was the hat meant to cover up their wounds?
That might not even be all. Let's go get them right away. We can't let Dugier escape with all of the evidence.
Gerechte Strafe. Aber was ist die gerechte Strafe? Das wird jetzt interessant.
Your Grace, we have taken the Society members into custody. They all tried to flee just a little while ago, as if they had received some kind of order. We decided to forestall their plan, and were just about to send the word when you unexpectedly arrived.
Great work, everyone.
You had prepared for something like this all along?
I had them stay here to keep an eye on things, so I'm glad that my intuition turned out to be correct. Perform a thorough search of the Society's headquarters and bring all the members to me.
Understood, Your Grace.
Now, let's check on them. As expected, they all have a hollow thorn inserted into a wound on their head.
Ooh! Paimon's glad her eyesight isn't so good that she can see it from here. Paimon's gonna float away for a bit.
Der Dorn steckt noch auf den Kopf. Warum haben sie den Dorn nicht herausgezogen?
They probably left it there as a lasting reminder of Dugier's censure. These people must have had to endure an unimaginable amount of pain.
Uff.
Let's go check out the other areas too.
Diese Zeitung scheint veraltet zu sein, aber sie sehen brandneu aus. Bei näherer Betrachtung sogar die Falten nahezu identisch. Sie scheinen nicht durch natürliches Lesen entstanden zu sein.
Hey, come here. Have a look at this.
Ja, ich komme ja schon, Paimon.
This is a book that Paimon found in a box next to the bookshelf. Its contents are exactly the same as this book on the shelf. The colors of the covers are completely different though, and the names of the authors also don't match up.
Die Bücher dienen also auch nur zur Schau.
Yeah, and they dared to claim that they wrote these too. Huh.
Look at what I found.
Das ist...
This is a surveillance port. With this, Dugier would be able to remotely monitor everything that's happening at the gathering place. So even if Dugier's not there in person, he'll still always have eyes on the members.
Kein Wunder, dass sie solche Angst haben.
Indeed. It's easy to become lost and confused when you're given no instructions or any kind of script to follow. And if any action you take may be deemed a mistake, then perhaps it's better to do less. Or to not do anything at all. Dugier has already tamed them to his will.
Your Grace, Your Grace!
What's the matter?
We couldn't find any Society members in the other areas. It also seems like none of the equipment in those rooms were ever used. All the signs of wear and tear are fake. The lime scale, the layers of dust, they were all deliberately added. We also investigated the members' residences and weren't able to find anything. Their neighbors all say that they haven't returned home for ages.
Oh. Is that right?
They're gone? That could only mean...
Die Barrett-Gesellschaft hat große Anstrengungen unternommen, ein gefälschtes Treffpunkt zu bauen.
Indeed. As long as he allowed Society members to mingle with others, even with threats of censure, Dugier knew that he couldn't stop all of his members from speaking out. Meanwhile, this marvelous gathering place will lose all of its value as soon as a whistleblower sounds the alarm. So instead of being his real base, this is just an elaborate performance. The rest areas, the fancy equipment, even the members that we saw, they were merely part of the front. And only the most docile and well-trained members were selected as his performers.
But then, where can we actually find him?
Let me think. Dugier must be holding all the rest of his members in another place. And if the overseer of my fortress guard has never alerted me to anything of the sort, he must be in Dugier's pocket.
Dann werden wir die Wachen finden. Ja.
I'm of the same mind. Let's go. You two, follow me.
Geht zum Produktionstrakt.
Time to go.
So, der war runter. Runter bedeutet runter. So. Einmal tiefer. Ach, dann weiß ich schon, wo, wie, was. Weil da wollte ich eh nämlich nochmal gucken wegen Drehen und Probieren und ja.
Did that person flee here?
That's the most likely scenario to me. He's probably already caught wind of Dugier's declaration of war against me, and has fled to seek his protection. Let's keep heading down. There are some abandoned areas in there. Since he needs space, I'd guess Dugier probably converted them into his headquarters. We should be on the right track. Now we just need to find that turncoat. Let's go. We can take this path. You guys take the other.
Mir noch folgen soll. Na, renn weiter.
Look! There's a fallen guard over there! I might see some society members too!
After them.
It's rising. Run!
Fange. Ja, ich fange hier.
Did Dugier send you? Why did you attack that guard?
Come on! It's time to talk! Can't you see that he's trying to help?
I will take your cooperation into consideration when it comes time to hand out sentences.
But Mr. Dugier, he didn't want this guy to expose our true location. We were just about to dispose of him when you caught up to us.
So, in other words, your headquarters should be this way.
Yes, it's just down this way. You'll make it there once you've seen him pass through a large drainage pipe.
So ist das vernünftig.
Guards, take them away. Let's go. It's about time that we find out what Dugier's really after.
Time to go.
Okay. Dugiers Königreich. Gott. Ja gut.